Hey guys,
What is up?
Brian Fanafan17 here. I hope you're all having a great day. And today we're going to be trying something
New,
trying something
different,
something that I've
never, ever
done before. This series is going to be called, it's actually, I guess I've never really done a series on my channel before, unless we consider my channel a series within itself, but yeah, anyways, we're going to be trying a new series called, which is pretty obvious from the title, Rate That Fan. So, the title, I guess you could say, pretty much sums it up, what it's going to be about. Basically, I'm going to go through a list of fans, and random fans, different fans, all different types. Actually, I'm going to stick to probably ceiling fans at first, but different random ceiling fans, and I'm basically just going to rate how much I like. So basically, you just get to hear me talk about my personal opinion of ceiling fans for 20 minutes. Yeah! Well, okay, so we're going to be getting into the series here to kind of make the intro short, but yes, basically, I'm going to go through different ceiling fans from a scale of 1 to 100 because, there's a lot of fans out there. So I figured the scale should probably be a wide variety. I'm basically going to rate them from kind of basically how much I like them. You guys are welcome to weigh in on your own opinions in the comments after I'm done. But I thought this would just be a fun chance to just kind of look at different ceiling fans. And I'm also going to rate how rare they are too in this episode by kind of researching these ceiling fans, seeing if a billion different YouTube videos and Google pics of them come up, or I can't find them anywhere, the fan doesn't exist compared looking at the internet. I think that would be those would be pretty strong indicators. So basically that's what this series is going to be about. So we'll just go ahead and give it a try here and let's get into it. So we are now looking at the little chart for this that I've created on Google Docs. I'll probably end up sharing this when I'm done if any of you just want to look at it for whatever reason. But so I decided to kind of create, you basically see what it is right now, basically just two empty spaces. But yeah, so basically I'm going to look up different fans. So I'm basically, also another thing that I probably didn't mention in the intro is that fans are, I will be rating fans based on, I will narrow it down to individual finishes. I'm not even just going to do a symbol brand and model name, because obviously I think many of us can agree that there are probably certain finishes of a same fan brand and model that I would like better than another finish. So my ratings could be totally different depending on the finish of that fan. So that's going to be something. So I thought we would first start with some of the most common fans and some of the most rare ceiling fans. So first we're going to start off with a Harbor Breeze Classic Style. Why not? Why don't we start off with the basics of a Harbor Breeze Classic Style 2, actually. So we'll just go ahead and put Harbor Breeze. We'll first just quickly fill out the style, second gen, 52 inch, just the basic 52-inch white one, white with 5 blades. Obviously classics were never made in 4 blades, but some fans have different blade amounts too, so that could depend on as well. So rarity, that's a tricky one if we're talking about rarity for this fan, because one of the things that really determines for me how rare a fan is if it's still being made. And unfortunately, well, maybe unfortunately for some people, I'm kind of mixed about it, how I feel about it. But very recently, I think just earlier this year, Lowe's discontinued the classic style. So it's it's not being made anymore. You couldn't go get it, but that fan was still very common. Fan is still very common, but we can deduce that over the years, there's probably going to slowly become less and less of them because they're going to get thrown away. There's so many of them out there. They're either going to get thrown away, or I guess that's the only way they could really totally disappear. But they're not going to get made anymore, so they're just going to decrease. So that's just something to take in mind, that like, to decide how something rare is for me personally, that's just an example of like, is it still being made? Could I go get it? Could I go out and get it right now? And the answer is no. Actually, I was originally going to make this chart. Oh gosh, a little typo there. That's hilarious. Okay. Anyways, yeah, back to what was going on. So basically, I was originally going to have this be... I was actually going to originally have this series, and I was planning it all the way back in, like, last December, of, like, a ceiling fan rarity chart. Like, how rare is that ceiling fan? But then I was on video chat with a few fan collectors one night, and one of them had this idea to have us look at pictures of fans and decide how much we like them from a scale of 1. It was a scale from 1 to 20, and everyone had to rate, like, how much they liked that fan. And we all kind of had different opinions and stuff. And that kind of just gave me an idea that I thought maybe it would be fun just to do a thing where I rate the fans, but then I can also do how rare they are too. So anyways, so we got a Harbor Breeze classic style 2nd generation 52-inch white blades. That's probably the most common finish, either that one or the matte black one out of all the classic styles. And I have to say, as far as rarity goes, we were just talking about that earlier, how it's not really being made anymore. When I first came out with this series, or when I was, not came out, deciding the series of the whole rarity thing back in December, the fan was still being made, so I probably would have even maybe said 100 or like 99.999 or something like that. But because it's not being made anymore, I'm actually going to drop it a few points and say 5 points. If a fan isn't being made anymore, I've decided it's an automatic 5 points. But because that fan is so common, that's all I'm going to give to it for now. That number probably will decrease as the years go on. But that is what I decide. How can we make that bold there? There we go. I've decided that the rarity is 95 for that, because they're pretty common. Now, let's see, a white classic style, what would I rate that from a scale of 1 to 100? They're kind of, the classic style in general is childhood for me, but they're not great quality fans. In fact, there's this one story of when it was my old sitter. She was an electrician too, so she wanted me to come help. She thought it might be fun for me to come see her install a fan, maybe even help out with simple stuff. It was at her friend's condo, and that friend had picked out a brushed nickel classic style, and unfortunately there was a little accident where the fan fell off the top of the ladder onto the carpet, but it wasn't a very severe fall. And apparently it was enough, unless the fan was already defunct itself when she got it, the fan was broken. It was like they put it up and it didn't work. So she ended up actually getting another one of the exact same finish, another exact same brushed nickel classic style, and it worked. So if that's actually what caused it to break, let's just say that's pretty bad. That is a pretty crappy fan for it to take that little of a fall and then just not work. So, and I think it's no secret that Harbor Breeze in general, and especially classic styles, are not made that well. So, and then we're talking about a basic white one. I think I'm going to have to go with 15, because from a scale of 1 to 100, and like 1's the lowest. Because their childhood, I will have to say, and I like to call the housing on them the Dorito chip housing. They literally look like Dorito or tortilla chips. It's like literally, like I was actually looking at a Clara while I was at Dolly, when I was like, those are chips. Those are like literally look like chips on the housing. But the first time I saw a Clara, it was a Clara 2, and it was a Clara 2 was the first time I ever saw that housing design. And I kind of liked it the first time I saw it. I was like, that's very interesting. Of course, seeing them all over the place, it became very old. I became very used to it very quickly. And it's kind of tired out now for me. But when I first saw them, I was kind of like, okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I would have to say my final rating of that fan is definitely 15, especially a matte white one. It's not really that appealing. It looks very cheap. And it kind of is a bit cheap, to be honest with you. I mean, it's a builder grade fan. So I'm going to have to go with a 15 for a Harbor Breeze Classic 2nd Gen. Alright, so the next fan we're going to do is something that's probably, there's probably a lot of extremely rare ceiling fans out there, but probably one of the most, when I think of rare ceiling fans, one of the most prominent examples that has kind of stood out to me during the time being at the fan community is the Casablanca California Gold. So I'm just going to... insert row above there. So, because I think this is going to be higher. I can already tell this is going to be higher on my list than a Harbor Breeze Classic style. So, Casablanca, California Gold, 52-inch. Is it 52-inch? I think it's 52-inch. If it's not, you can tell me. I can go back and change it. But it's white and brass, or, well, actually, it's not really white. It's actually white and 24 karat gold. I'll just put W and G for white and gold. 5-blade. And as you guys know, these are some of the most rare fans out. One of the most rare fans out there, because for a really long time, no fan collector was known to have one. Now, I've heard a rumor that I think Alan Pavan might have gotten someone. Actually, let me check here. So I look up Casablanca California Golden Seed. I've also have seen a picture of a real one before. So they definitely exist, but they're just super, super rare. And I think they were only sold for a very short period of time. Yeah, I'm only seeing pictures of ones from the museum when I'm Googling it, but I did hear a rumor that Alan Pavan got one, and that could very well be true. But it's pretty rare, and I'm probably going to have to say, if we're just doing a scale of 1 to 100, I'm probably going to go ahead and say 1, because that is extremely rare. Now, my personal rating of the fan, I kind of like it. It's pretty cool. And I definitely think, like, if you're looking at, like, if you think about, like, a really nice 90s hotel, maybe perhaps in Vegas, or just something really nice that sort of has that sort of, it's sort of got a hints of Victorian architecture in it, but it's also very 90s modern, that fan would look great. That would just look so cool. So I have to say, I don't know if I would say it's my absolutely favorite fan of all time, but I think I'm going to go, why not, 92. My rating is 92 of it, because it's a pretty good fan. The fact that it's rare just makes it so cool. But I would say the light is big. It's nice. It's a cool light. It's a little bit out there, but I like it. And it is kind of just taking several parts from fans and meshing them together. Like, it looks like just a really fancy Spirit of Saturn. But I really do like them a lot. So I'm probably going to have to say a 92. Actually, you know what? Let's bump it up 3 points to a 95. Because I love the fact that they're just so rare. And if I ever saw one, I would just be so happy. So I'm going to have to go with a 95 for that one. Those two were kind of long to get through. I kind of wanted to really explain kind of how the series worked before we kind of really dove into it, but we're going to try to go a little faster from now on with the ceiling fans. And eventually, probably after this first episode, I'm going to try to get to maybe even up to 20 ceiling fans per episode, try to really get the list built up. So what I'm going to do is... So yeah, we basically saw how that worked. You kind of got an idea for how it worked. So I'm trying to think about what fan we should do next. How about we do one that I kind of really know I don't like? When people often ask me what my least favorite fan is, I often tell them it's the Hampton Bay Huntington III. 52-inch. And I'm trying to think about the different finishes they come in. We're just going to do the white one to start with. White fans to me just generally tend to bore me a lot. So I'm not a huge fan of just white fans. So it's automatically on my rating list. It's probably going to get docked a few points just for being white. Let's see. The rarity of a Huntington III. I don't think they're made anymore. But, and I'm not going to say they're quite as common as the classics are, because I think they might have been discontinued a while ago, but they're still pretty common. I'm going to look it up on YouTube right now, actually. I've known, probably a lot of you guys know that, from my channel, know those fans for being in goat feathers all the way back in 2012. Of course, those are gone now, so... but yeah, there's many different videos of them that I'm finding here, and I even found a white one. So I'm going to probably say the rarity is probably somewhere between an 85 and a 90. I'm going to say as a white one, I don't know, 85. I mean, sometimes it's hard to know for sure. Not always the best judgment, but that's what I'm just going to say right off the top of my head is it's an 85, because they're pretty common, but we're just talking about a specific finish here. So I think I'm going to say 85 for that. And my rating of the fan, probably a 5. Because, actually, I don't know, maybe even lower than that. No, I'm going to say a 5, because the reason it gets 5 points, at least it gets a few points, is because Huntington IIIs in general are childhood, but not really the white ones, to be honest with you. The white ones they basically just look like really basic, cheap, generic fans to me. But the thing that I really can't stand about Huntington IIIs is just their blade sagging. They aren't even meant to do that. Like, their blade arms are just so flimsy, it's not even funny. It's like, and they even sag on, like, displays and stuff, like, oh my god. I can't even talk about, like, a design flaw there, and, like, they never even, like, I'm not sure, was it Aircool that made the Huntington III? Was it SMC? I'm not sure if it was SMC. I'm not sure what company, because I know Hampton Bay didn't really make their own fans. But whoever made that, like, I can't believe they never even addressed that. It's like, that's a flaw, that the blades just droop like that on every single one. And, oh my god, I just can't. That just really drives me nuts. It's just so cheap. Okay. Now, moving on to the fourth fan. We're going to do one now when people often ask me what my favorite fan is. I'm sure those of you who I've probably mentioned it more than a few times, is the NuTone Veranda Deluxe. I recently gave away my antique brass 1/8 inch ceiling fan corner because the variable speed was dead on it, and he fixed it. I'm kind of bummed now. I wish I could have it back. Now, I'm going to have to think about which one is my favorite. Actually, let me look up. I think it's probably going to be the brown and brass one. We'll do that one for now, because I've always wanted a brown and brass one. Dan is sort of known for seeing them at this pizza place. It was quite a while ago, but he went to 2 pizza restaurants that had a whole bunch of them, and I remember watching those videos a lot. They were so cool, those fans. So the white and brass one, and actually in some ways, I'm going to change the sides to 36. The ones in the video were 52-inch, and I just love those. But the 36-inch ones, those are really, really cool, too. So brown and brass, B&B, I might know what that means. 4 blades. Rarity of those, they're definitely way below 50, probably even 25%. Let me think. Let me look up a 36-inch one and see how many brown and brass ones I can find. I think Connor has one. I know he got one at one time. I was like really wanted that fan. Okay, I see one on Dan's channel. That's the only picture that's one of coming up. That's like coming up on my feed here. So I'm gonna say that's probably a 10. Pretty rare, but I wouldn't say like California gold rare. But my rating of those fans, gosh, well, I don't know. It might depend. I'm not gonna go into so much detail to say if it has a light or not, but his has like these like not tulip shades, but sort of a flower design, kind of vintage. Actually, they're kind of Tiffany shades. Really nice. I'm probably gonna have to go. I don't know. Why did I go full forward and say 100? That is one of my all-time favorite fans, the NuTone Veranda Deluxe, since I was a kid. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much going to wrap up the first episode. I think that's all we're going to do for now. But as we start going on with the series, I'm going to start probably going a lot faster and just including many more ceiling fans. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thanks for watching, and you all have a great